So for today, we are going to discuss another major theorist of the postmodern era, and the name of the theorist is Jean Baudrillard. His most important postulates are simulacra and simulation, or simulacra and simulation by Jean Baudrillard. So this man is here is Jean Baudrillard, and let's talk about his another. So here is the first quote. We live in a world where there is more and more information and less meaning. So as I just mentioned earlier, that it is one of the most important tendencies of postmodernism, that they are just still focusing on the meaning. Okay, here in this particular writer, or we could say theorist, he just mentioned one thing in all his work. There is a blurred line between fantasy and reality. Okay, and we are going to learn it today. And these lines are taken from his famous essay, The Transparency of Evil, Essays on Extreme Phenomena, that was published in 1990. Okay, so let's talk about his biography or background. So Jean Baudrillard, born in 1929 and died in 2007, was a French philosopher and cultural analyst who started his academic life as a Marxist sociologist, interested in consumer society, and he also completed his PhD thesis in 1966. Okay, so Jean Baudrillard has been referred to as the high priest of postmodernism, as the high priest of postmodernism. Baudrillard's key ideas include two that are often used in discussing postmodernism in the arts: simulation and simulacra. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is simulation and simulacra? But before that, here are some his major works. The System of Objects, that was published in 1968. The Consumer Society, Myths and Structures, that was published in 1970. For a Critique of the Political Economy of the Sign, 1972. And Simulacra and Simulation, 1981. The Precession of Simulacra, 1983. America, 1986. And one of his most inevitable or permanent essay, The Gulf War Did Not Take Place, 1995. And the another one, The Transparency of Evil, Essay on Extreme Phenomena, 1990. And after that, The Intelligence of Evil, or the Lucidity Pact, that was published in 2005. So here are some major works written by Jean Baudrillard. So first of all, let's talk about what is simulation or simulacra. So Baudrillard's idea of simulation revolves around the idea that in our modern world, what we experience is not reality itself, but a copy of a copy. It's not a reality, but a copy of a copy. A simulation of reality that has replaced the real thing. Okay, so there is one real thing, one authentic thing, and after that there are multiple copies. What is simulation? Simulation is like a fake version of something real. Fake version of something real. What is simulacra? Simulacra is when that fake version becomes so common or powerful. It becomes so common or powerful, and then it converted to as, or we treat it is as like a real thing. And after that, you know, if we talk about Jean Baudrillard, he just most attacked on one thing, and that is mass media. According to him, mass media construct the reality. So here we can see that media construct the reality. Media replaces the real world with the image of the world. And when we go further, he will talk about those signs and symbols. You know, instead of reality, those signs and symbols just make a new thing that is called hyperreal or hyperreality. Okay, and the mixture of the real world and the fantasy. So means copies of things now haven't consist the original meaning of the real version. Okay, let's take an example of a tree. Real thing. Imagine a real object or event like an actual tree in a forest. So first of all, you just see a tree in the forest. This is the real thing. But what is the first copy? Someone takes a photo of that tree, and after that someone take a photo of the tree. This is the first copy. And what is the second copy? Later someone makes a painting of that photo of the tree, and after that there is a painter who just paint all these things. Okay. And what is simulacra? Now we have a painting of a photo of a tree, and now we have a proper painting, and after that, and it may no longer even remind us of the real tree. Okay, that is the genuine one, that is the authentic one. We saw at forest, it's just a copy of a copy, and we start to think of the copy as the real thing. Okay, it means now we have three stages. First, there is a first thing, real thing, and after that first copy. Okay, when I just take a photo, and after the second copy is when I just paint that thing. Okay, and after what is simulacra? When I just treating that thing as a real thing. This is simulacra. So here, with the help of 3 or 4 stages, he just defined that how a real things converted into hyperreality. So there are some stages. Okay, he just mentioned in his essay, the Gulf War did not take place. So here are the first stage, sacramental order. Faithful copy of original that exists simply means camera copying your picture. After that, we can see that there is no addition. Talking about transcendental and divine or authentic rituals. Okay, this is sacramental state. Okay, sacramental state or the first thing, the real thing. Okay, but what happened in order of maleficence? This is another stage. Process of simulation denatures the reality. Okay, for instance, someone take my photo, and after that I just added that photo, and all the pimples on my face, what? They are all eradicated. Okay, now I have a very fair skin when I edit that photo. So that thing belong to this stage, order of maleficence. Process of simulation denatures the reality. After taking my photo, by turning edit mode on all the scar on the face, all the scars on the face are now indistinct or removed. I know it's not a faithful copy, but a perverted sense. Okay, all the scars are now gone, they are removed. Why? Editing the photo. This is the order of maleficence. Modern media, technology and simulation of the society. Okay, lost touch with real. Okay, here in order of maleficence, you can see I just lost that touch with the real. Why? Because I have that edit version. Okay, and the real thing is now converted into order of maleficence. Let's go further. And the other one is the order of sorcery. It's not all about the black magic, but a reality goes under lot of changes. Okay, reality goes under lot of changes after editing my photo by removing all the pimples by editing. Now I just take the photo and convert it into something that is cartoon. Okay, after editing, okay, I just removed all the pimples, all the scars. But here in the order of sorcery, what I'm going to do? I just open one app and I just edit my photo there. Okay, turn that photo into a portrait picture or a kind of cartoon. Okay, or caricature you could say. Okay, the third stage is marked by artificiality, artificial things. Okay, this characterize the third stage, and the third stage is called the order of sorcery. Okay, media and advertisements are the modern day sorcerers. Okay, so here just still focusing on that thing, media, mass media. Okay, they just blur the realities. Okay, and just make or produce copy of the copies. Okay, media and advertisements are the modern day sorcerers casting spells, and they shape our vision towards reality. This is true actually. Okay, suppose I am just watching a movie on the television, for instance, the Black Panther. Okay, so in Black Panther, you can see there is a word called Wakanda. Okay, and that symbolizes other things. As we all know, that African countries are mostly decolonized by the colonizers. But here in Wakanda, we can see that the country never in clutches of the Britishers. So this is a kind of new thing. What media is promoting. Okay, so let's go further. What is pure simulation right now? In this, the feature of the hyper reality comes into the play. Okay, so there are a lot of editing, okay, a lot of stages, and now here the simulation, the hyper reality come into the play. Here you are not able to classify, but is real and the artificial. What? That is real, but what? That is artificial also. There extreme blending of real versus artificial. Okay, so here is the most important distinction between real versus artificial. Okay, I think we know the distinct. What is real and what is artificial? Physical and the virtual reality. This is pure simulation. Okay. Sacramental order and the order of munificence mainly found in pre-modern age. When the technology was not that much active, people used to make many copies. First order simulation found in the pre-modern age. Okay, so it's all about copies of copies. The first copy, the second copy, and that exists in this pre-modern age. Okay. So what is hyperreality? Order of maleficence or sorcery are characteristics of modern age or industrial revolution. As I just mentioned in my previous lectures, that industrial revolution is one of the most important changes or gruesome changes in the history of humanity. And after pure simulation happened in the postmodern age or in late capitalism. Okay. All the identity things converted into real copy of the real. Symbol, culture, and society. Copies produced in the postmodern age felt the freedom to move away from the original. Okay, so just they are moving away from the original things. There is no authenticity. Okay, you can see those artificial things right now. No features of original. Contemporary media. Media creates hyperreality, or we can say media enhance pure simulation. Multinational capitalism means number of copies of the original take place. We come to on that question that what is original. Okay, so in the capitalism we can say there are multiple copies. Okay, and the original is not in the scene right now. Urbanization or the origin of the cities totally alienated people from the living world. Okay, here we can see some traces of modernism and postmodernism. Okay, the invention of the new technologies. Okay, as I mentioned in my previous lecture, atom bombs is there, nuclear weapons are there. Okay, I also mentioned one thing, the invention of the press. Okay, by Gutenberg. Okay, so people become disconnected from nature. It's all about urbanization, the setup of industrialization. When people come from the villages, to nurture their life, to lead a good life, they are in search of employment. So here they came, and after that we can see that there are in industrialization we can see copy of the copies. Something authentic is replaced, something authentic or original is replaced by a fantasy or a real thing. Okay, so here this hyper reality, or we could say this urbanization or industrial revolution, okay, also taking us away far from that nature. Okay, and now we are in the world of artificial intelligence. Language, the mythos, or more mean what we say. Okay, so it's also about language and mythology. Every text contains numerous connotations. Every text goes a lot of deconstructing reading. As a concept, I just mentioned, like Julia Kristeva, intertextuality, prestige, okay. And if you talk about another one, the magic realism, okay, the combination of fantasy versus reality, or the combination of fantasy and reality. These are some most important or prominent example of hyperreality, okay. And after that, it loses original intention of the author. We can take the example of parody also, okay. So, okay, it's a kind of edited version of other work, okay, but in a humorous way, but it is a copy of a copy. The Gulf War did not take place. The Gulf War was a myth, a spectacle, a simulation. So here he just focusing on one thing, that his essay, the Gulf War did not take place. He just mentioned one thing in that essay, that the war is only on mass media. There is no practical war or physical war. It is only on the mass media, on the televisions, we could say. Media, that's why media always construct the reality. And after that, when he propounded these two terms, simulation and simulacra, but after that he just came with another notion, and that is what? Death of the real. The death of the real. Baudrillard argues that in the modern world, especially in media and advertising, the real has been replaced by endless images, signs and simulations. Okay. So in the world where advertisements, media is has that significance, people stop engaging with the world as if truly is, and instead engage with how it is presented to them. Okay, so all the realities, we could say that, constructed by the media, and the person who is the receiver, there is only one thing for him. He has to accept all that truth that is circulated by that media. In this sense, the real world becomes dead, and the lines between what is real and what is fake get blurred. So you can't distinct or differentiate between these two things. What is real and what is fake? He calls this phenomena the death of the real. There is no authenticity right now. Okay, there is no original thing. Okay, copies of copies, where image and sign came to replace actual experiences. It's all about images and signs. Okay. After that, here I just come with an example. So this is, here is your Disneyland. Okay, as we know that Disneyland is inaugurated by Walt Disney. He's the person who set up this kind of thing. So here we can see many characters, fantasy-like characters. For instance, Mickey Mouse. Okay, when you enter in this particular place, you can see the whole scenario there. For instance, the environment. Okay, so there is a big castle, as you can see. So when you enter in that castle, you can see that something that is not real, but this is hyper real. It means copy of real. Okay, and what here, the fantasy has the main theme. Okay, the fantasy construct all these things. So if we take the example of Jacques Derrida, deconstructionism, and after that Michel Foucault is there also. So they are also talking about that particular thing, that there is no meaning right now. There is no fixity of meanings. There are multiple meanings. Okay, so Disneyland, okay, the example I just mentioned earlier, the movie Black Panther Wakanda, is a kind of a fantasy words. Okay, where something is opposite. Okay, where there is nothing is real, but a kind of fantasy. So this is our main topic today. What is hyperreality and what is simulation and simulacra? So that's for all. Thank you.